Welcome to a journey that dives deep into perhaps the greatest mystery of all, our own minds. Have you ever stopped to wonder where your thoughts come from, or why you think and feel the way you do? Understanding the origins of our thoughts isn't just fascinating. It helps us unlock the secrets of who we are, how we learn, and what makes us unique. Today, we're setting out on an exploration through the history and science of psychology. We'll meet curious thinkers from ancient times and discover how their big questions sparked a field that continues to shape our lives. Get ready to travel through time and ideas as we seek answers to the questions that define us all. Why do we think the way we do? What makes us who we are? These questions have fascinated people for thousands of years. Long before psychology became a science, ancient philosophers like Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle explored the mysteries of the mind. Socrates urged us to question our beliefs. Plato believed our minds connect to a world of perfect ideas, and Aristotle focused on learning through experience. They debated, are we born with knowledge or do we learn everything from experience? These thinkers didn't have scientific tools, just their minds and sharp questions. Their debates laid the foundation for psychology, asking, what is the mind? How is it connected to the body? Even without experiments, their ideas shaped the way we study human thought today. The journey to understand ourselves began with their curiosity, their legacy, the questions that still drive psychology. The science of psychology grew from these ancient roots. As time passed, two main schools of thought emerged, rationalism and empiricism. Rationalists like Descartes believed knowledge comes from reason and innate ideas. I think therefore I am. He trusted logic over the senses, which he thought could deceive us. Empiricists like Locke argued the mind is a blank slate at birth, filled by experience. Hume pushed this further, questioning if we can ever be certain about cause and effect. Rationalists asked, can we know truth by thinking alone? Empiricists insisted, all knowledge starts with the senses. This debate forced thinkers to ask, where does knowledge really come from? The clash between reason and experience shaped the future of psychology. These questions moved us closer to a science of the mind. The search for answers was just beginning. The mind's mysteries demanded more than just argument. The next step, experiment. For centuries, the mind was a topic for debate, not science. But as the scientific revolution unfolded, people wondered, could we study the mind like we study the body? Early attempts like phrenology tried to link traits to bumps on the skull. Wrong. But it suggested mental functions might be tied to the brain. Scientists began connecting mental processes to biology, learning how nerves and senses work. The idea grew. The mind could be measured, observed, and studied scientifically. The old philosophical debates now met the power of experiment. Psychology was ready to break away from philosophy. The stage was set for a new science. The mind was about to enter the laboratory. In 1879, Wilhelm Wundt opened the first psychology lab in Germany, marking psychology's official birth as a science. Wundt and his students used experiments to study reaction times and perception, aiming to break down consciousness into basic parts, structuralism. His method, introspection, was systematic but subjective. In America, William James developed functionalism, focusing on what the mind does and how it helps us adapt. Pavlov's experiments with dogs led to behaviorism, which studied only observable behavior. Skinner expanded this, insisting psychology should focus on what can be measured. Meanwhile, Freud in Vienna explored the unconscious mind, adding a new dimension to psychology. Each school offered a different lens on the mind. Psychology became a field of competing ideas and methods. The science was growing fast. The study of the mind was now experimental, diverse, and global. Today, psychology is a vast science, from brain imaging to social behavior, yet it still shares deep roots with philosophy. Big questions like the mind-body problem remain philosophical at heart. Ethics in psychology draws on philosophical principles of right and wrong. Moral psychology bridges both fields, exploring how we develop our sense of right and wrong. Psychology has grown up but never left philosophy behind. The ancient questions still guide us. The conversation between philosophy and psychology continues, seeking to understand what it means to be human.